I dropped a massive news bomb on my dad, hoping he would be happy I was finally getting engaged, but my stepmom immediately told me she wasn't attending my wedding, and it made me remember 5 years of my traumatic childhood that I forgot all about. Long post, but there's kind of a lot to this. Repressed childhood memories coming back? I, 36F, have heard of this happening, but I honestly never thought I'd experience it, and holy dang, this has been jarring. My dad and stepmom have been together since I was age 3, so 33 years. My childhood was a disaster zone. I have lost large chunks of time where it is a big blank area. I thought it was maybe because I had to take so much Benadryl as a kid because my allergies were so bad that I didn't remember much. Now I think the memory loss is mostly trauma-related. Dark murky memories would come up, but I have had no real timeline of my childhood. My mom was married many, many times, and we moved a lot, and she had a baby and then another baby and then 2 more babies. I can sometimes piece together a home we lived in, or what school I went to when, but it is all a blur. I was both my parents' first child and the baby of teenage marriage. There was alcoholism and drug use and chaos. Some things have always stood out. Like the time a stepdad put a pew-pew to my mom's head. Or, my sister being born. Or, times when we had to move out fast and we were told to start throwing the things we wanted into garbage bags and put them into the car. My mom and I were very close, and I was kind of her co-pilot through all the crap. Crazy as our life was, I loved the hell out of her, and she passed away 2 years ago from cancer. All in all, I have had a kind of hero through it, my dad. About a year ago, my dad, stepmom and I were sitting outside around a backyard fire having drinks and real talk. He said something that surprised me, which was that I had lived with them as a kid for a period of about 4 to 5 years. This was news to me. I had not remembered living with them for that long at all. In my head, it was maybe 6 months. My dad was hurt I did not remember living with them. During that time, my stepmom apologized for being so mean to me during my childhood. I shrugged it off and joked, "Well, I guess it's water under the bridge since I don't remember." She said, "No, I was really mean." And I said, "It's okay. All of it has come around. We are good now." Fast forward to 2 days ago. Over the weekend, the man I love got down on knees and asked me to marry him. Magical moment, and we have been very happy. In fact, it's the first relationship I have ever felt safe in, but it takes work and effort for me to trust. I tell my dad and stepmom the news and watch the whole thing turn and capsize. My dad makes a comment about how I had to beat my sister to a ring. My sister is their daughter/my half-sister and is in a serious relationship that is also leading to marriage soon. I am struck. I do not feel competitive with my sister, and she and I have always celebrated each other's victories. Then, my stepmom asks about where and when, and I tell her it might be a year out, and she starts making excuses about how she will not be able to go, not willing to go, but tells my dad he can go. I hear this and know my dad will not ever take a trip without her, and start to panic that he will not come to my wedding. The comments pile and mount, one on top of the other, until my whole body is trembling. Although I have been sober for over a year, suddenly I want nothing more than to drink. But, I do not drink and say everything is fine when asked, and try to leave on a good note to make sense of my feelings in private. Something that needs to be explained is that there has always been a strain with stepmom and me. I try hard to do things right, but I am scared of her and always have been. As an adult woman, she still scares me. She is incredibly controlling, powerful, dominating, and it is hard. My tactic in avoiding being a target of her passive-aggressive behavior and anger is just to be super nice. Nice all the time. Smile. Swallow. Repeat. When I came home from the engagement announcement, it was like the floodgates opened. One memory cascades into another and another and another. Suddenly I can recall being 7 and 10 and 12 and all the fear I had as a child in their home. I remember how much she hated me. The name-calling. The scapegoating. I remember sucking back tears and being told not to cry at all. I remember hearing all the time, "You're fine." I remember the secrets I had to keep about how mean she was. I remember walking down the hallway in our home and being pushed into another room while my dad watched TV in the living room, and her whisper screaming that I was a brat and a terrible child and was ruining her marriage, and being told to say nothing to my dad. I remembered she controlled my sleep habits. I have always slept on my stomach, but she required that I slept on my side to face my little sister at night, and would come into the room in the middle of the night and catch me on my stomach and wake me up to yell at me and tell me to go back on my side. She controlled the relationship I had with my dad. We could not do anything she was not a part of, did not supervise or control. I remember being cornered again and again. I was targeted and she was after me, and it was relentless. I remember her sisters telling me how sorry they were and that it was not okay for me to be treated this way. She was a relentless bully. I remember my sister, who is 7 years younger, always trying to protect me and shield me from her mom. I remember being taunted and teased and made fun of. I remember one time she yelled at me out front of our house and I got so scared I peed my pants and had to run inside and change. I remember our neighbors saying that I was safe in their home and if I ever made a mistake in their house they would not tell my stepmom. I remember when I left my dad and stepmom's house to move back with my mom that they took down all my photos from the walls and told me they would be fostering or adopting a kid to fill my place. When I moved back with my mom, life changed and was chaotic in the way it was with my mom, so I think I just forgot all of this stuff and kept going. But with this sudden flash of remembering everything now, there is just anger. Layers and layers of anger. Anger that my dad did not stand up for me. Anger about what they knew, but I did not. A huge sense of abandonment. What the hell is this? How can I have forgotten all of this? How does it just sweep from view? In my head, I rage at her and the main thing I say is, guess what? Now I remember. I sent them a text. A sheepish way to confront it, but for once I stood up for myself. It was very hard and my whole body quaked and trembled. They did not respond. The thing is, they have been trying in the past few years. They moved to my state. They want a relationship with me. She did apologize back in the yard that day. I know my dad loves me and tried in his own way to protect me. I don't think I will get any sense of accountability from them. But, now it's like this mystery has unlocked inside me. I always felt unsafe around her. I never felt like, even when she has been nice to me as an adult, like I could trust her. Now I know why. I think I am about to lose this last remaining chunk of parents I had. My mom is gone and I have continued to work through all the things that happened with her and will head back to therapy to deal with the rest. My sister asked what I want to come of all of this. Why put it all towards them? What kind of battle am I setting out to wage? And, I really don't know. I didn't see this coming and I am at a loss. I feel guilty for bringing this up. Like, I'm going to wreck the family. But I am also furious. I want them to have to hear it all from me. I want to ask my dad what he did and did not know. I want her confession. I feel like I can already hear my dad telling me not to be so dramatic, and yet, I feel like I will not be able to stuff this one back in. How can I rehash something that I only now remember? Is it worth it to even try, or do I just salvage a fake relationship for the sake of having one? I feel bad about feeling sorry for myself. Is there anything that will come from holding them accountable, or am I just headed down a path of anger and victimhood? I wonder if we can even have a relationship from here. Commenter, forgive me for ignoring the big crux of this issue, but I'm stalled at, what's her angle here? They've been trying to better their relationship with you. But then you give happy news and she makes a baseless claim of sisterly competition and immediately can't attend? Why? What does she still hold against you now? Why? Obviously she harbors some reasoning as to why she dislikes you so much, and she's got to skate by thus far on your inability to remember the early days of her abuse. But this was an out. She didn't have to say she was unable to attend. She's choosing to still be a trash person to you. OP, you have hit on one of the more confusing aspects, and I think why this made it all come up and out. It's still the same behavior from both, really. That is why I am kind of at a loss where faith in any change is concerned. Feels like if we are going to remain a family and spend time together, then I will have to accept the underhanded comments that I have always been aware of. Thanks for pointing this out, it helps me feel less crazy. Update. Well, Reddit, it's been 3 months and I could not have anticipated the way this was going to go back then. I want to thank everyone who offered real advice and support. I am very appreciative of having some objective voices weigh in. I did what everyone encouraged me to do and hauled my butt to therapy. I shopped for therapists and found a really stellar one. He is compassionate, attentive and clear. I also got involved in ACOA, Adult Children of Alcoholics, which has been helpful for me. My response for a long while was just to hunker down. My sister decided she did not want to speak about this topic with me, so we have distanced. My dad and I went almost 3 months without speaking. He would text inquiring or asking to meet, and then cancel our meetings. I have avoided speaking with my stepmom altogether. My fiancé and I have gotten closer through this experience. I have leaned on him and he has been really supportive. We are doing joint therapy to work on making sure this does not affect the level of trust and safety we can have as we move into marriage. Emotionally, I have not been too well. This experience called a narrative and history into question. The shift that has taken place has been sobering and disheartening, but it also feels like a lot of who I am and my makeup has kind of clicked into view. I have that, among many other things, to be grateful for. All this hard stuff has led to some answers, even if they aren't the ones I wanted. My dad and I finally spoke on Saturday. It went precisely as I could have imagined. Probably, about as precisely as many of the commenters warned it would go, honestly. I went back this morning and reread a lot of the comments before writing this and was shocked by how right everyone was. Bottom line, Dad has doubled down on nothing happened here. During our call, he said he did not want to talk about any of this but then went on to say how much I am to blame for the bulk of it. He said he has always felt in the middle of our battles. I truly didn't understand this. I have always felt incredibly passive with my stepmom and rarely did anything to defy her. When I questioned this, he said, "You always said things, like you aren't my mom, don't tell me what to do." I told him I had no recollection of ever saying this. He said it was when I was 4. You had it out for her from the beginning. The call was confounding. He told me that maybe he should have not tried to stay in my life and just done what his dad had done and walk away. He said this might have been better for me and part of him wishes now that he had just left and started a new family. He said it probably would have been better for everyone if he had done it this way. He made references to me being like my mom. He said I always liked her more because of all the drama. He said this was me just bringing up more drama. I stopped trying to explain any bit of myself during the call and went quiet. There was blame, gaslighting, denial, hostility, passive aggression, all of it. The odd thing about all of it was despite him offering no validation of what did happen or is happening now, I feel validated. In my gut, I knew that was the way it would go. At least I know why I didn't ever stand up for myself. There was never much room to. I told him at least this much, that I knew this was the response he would give. Didn't expect to hear him say he wished he had just walked away, but there it was. He sees me as the problem child and my feeling of being the scapegoat here was presented in clear view. Maddening, a little, because I never even talked back as a kid. Commenter. Imagine having the words come out of your mouth unironically blaming a 4-year-old for abuse. My 3-year-old told me I wasn't her mom anymore because I wouldn't let her have a cookie before dinner. Like. That's kids you psycho. Commenter 2. The narcissist's prayer. That didn't happen. And if it did happen, it wasn't that bad. And if it was that bad, that's not a big deal. And if it is a big deal, that's not my fault. And if it was my fault, I didn't mean it. And if I did mean it, you deserved it. Sound familiar? If your dad is not a narc himself, then he is an enabler for your narc stepmom. All in all, I am thinking this is one I just let go of and step back entirely. I could not have imagined ever stepping away from family, but it does feel like the sanest thing to do. I will continue to focus on healing, on therapy, on figuring out this business of trust. Thanks again. Best to you.